Okay, so today is the day that I am going to do the things that I actually set myself out to do. So, my husband is currently at work, he has the car, and my other car is currently in the shop, which kind of puts me in a spot where I really can't go out and distract myself with errands or like things that I probably like will and should be doing, but I will do after my husband gets home. And instead, I will actually do this video because I've been telling my husband that I've been wanting to start a YouTube channel, even though it feels like the entire world is polluted with reels now, and now we gotta figure out how to do reels. I still really feel like YouTube is not dead and we can still make YouTube videos and people will still listen to them. So, um, yeah, this first video is just going to be on pregnancy, which is something that it's easy to talk about for me because I'm currently going through it and there is so much about it that I have learned and that I have experienced. And yeah, it's just something to get the ball rolling for me. So basically, I am in the third trimester. Currently, my routine consists of keeping a really good dental hygiene, eating every single piece of food that meets my nutritional requirements. I don't overeat, I don't undereat. Current Recently I passed a gestational diabetes screening, which was huge for me because diabetes runs in my family and I was running the risks of being um, gestationally diabetic, and that was on the pre-diabetic spectrum. So the fact that I'm not diabetic is a huge green light for me to have an at-home birth, which makes me very happy because I if if I was going to get pregnant and if I was going to give birth, which is what I'm going to be doing in a few months, um, I would like to do it on my own terms, and I would like to do it knowing that my body can do that. So, yeah, I definitely want to avoid hospitals, and it seems like I'm getting a huge green light to do it. So, I'm glad I trusted my gut and I still went through a at-home midwife rather than pursuing a doctor or an OBGYN or a midwife through a doctor facility. So, um, I'm looking forward to my birth and I'm looking forward to having a baby in my arms and under my care. It's very exciting. It's very cool to think that I am going to be mentoring an entire human for for the rest of my life, and I think I've definitely learned enough to understand how to do it and like what to do and what not to do. I mean, I'm still learning those things, but I think that through the knowledge that I currently have now, I can channel it through a way that will make sense for them from every stage in life. So that's really exciting. Although I recently understood that because I'm having a boy, want to follow boys will usually want to follow the example of their father rather than their mother. Even though they're mama's boys, they're still going to want to listen to their father. Like they will still see their father as a figure and will look up to them. So that's really cool to me. Um, I'm definitely pushing my relationship to be as strong as possible, and I I really want to build a strong foundation for this human. So, um, yes, my routine right now in the third trimester consists of taking my prenatals, taking choline, iron, magnesium. I'm not really taking vitamin B or vitamin B complex or vitamin B12 or any sort of vitamin um, in the B family, but I am taking um, probiotics in the form of apple cider vinegar and high probiotic food like yogurt. I ran out of the probiotics that I like, and they're really expensive, so I'm just trying to keep a really good, clean body the natural way rather than just relying on probiotics and prebiotics as a supplement. Um, I have been experiencing some like yeast, which is inevitable, but recently my midwife recommended that I start drinking raw milk, and I will definitely consider it. I know that there's a place near me that sells raw milk, and it kind of sells out very quickly, so I haven't gotten a chance to like buy it. But yeah, I'm on the list on like getting it here pretty soon. Now, as far as other supplements, let's see. I'm taking vitamin D because I was vitamin D deficient at the beginning of my pregnancy. I don't know where I'm at anymore, but I have consistently been taking um, drops. Well, I have consistently been taking vitamin D3 and vitamin K2 um, in the form of drops. So I'll take 4 a day, which is about 5,000 IUs. And it's been working great. I mean, we're in the middle of winter, almost towards the end of winter, and I don't feel depressed. I don't feel um, sad um, or low in the sense that I have felt in the past, especially my teenage years when I was going through like a really rough time with my body. Also, like I don't know, there was a time in in my life, maybe about a decade, where I understood that there were seasons where I was going to be depressed, and it would usually be around winter or like even the fall time. Sometimes it would even be summertime, but I would feel depressed, I would feel low, and just not not in the mood to be out in the world and like exert energy. And I would exert energy um, just kind of exercising and doing things on my own. But recently, since I have gotten pregnant, and yeah, I mean, pretty much since I got pregnant, and I don't know if this like correlates with like the fact that I got a nose job, but I have been a lot more social and a lot more open. It could be the fact that I've been taking a lot more care of myself because of the pregnancy. It also could be because um, my self-esteem has improved. I don't know, because like I have a new nose and it makes me happy that I don't have like a crooked like manly nose anymore. I don't know. But regardless, whatever it is, I do feel higher mood. I do feel like a higher mood, and I don't really I'm not really currently experiencing depression, which is a good thing. I've also been taking calcium. I will forget because it makes my nausea act up, but it is very crucial for me to be taking in that calcium. Also, another thing that I started implementing throughout my pregnancy that I'm taking really serious now is eating like healthy fats and animal products. So I have been eating chicken, beef, tuna, salmon, you name it. Like, I mean, honestly, it's been like on a simpler side of the spectrum if you really see other carnivores. Before pregnancy, I was not a carnivore. I was definitely more plant-based, and I was definitely leaning more into oat milk, um, or like plant-based milks and just plant-based proteins. But pretty much since I got pregnant, I immediately started craving things like milk, whole milk, and just like fatty things. So that was very out of my that was definitely out of like character for me to be like drinking a glass of milk, but that's how I knew that my body just knew what I needed, and I completely embrace it. I drink whole milk. Um, I eat healthy butters and unsalted, salted butters. Um, yeah, so like just simpler meats. Like I'm not eating like exotic red meats. Like I don't know, like the craziest I'll go is just like having a steak once a week or something. But in reality, it's just like very simple meats that are actually out of my comfort zone because I used to be so plant based. But um, I don't know if that also is a reason why my mood has been enhanced. It is because like I'm eating like real dense food. Yeah. And I was keeping my meals dense even before getting pregnant. I mean, I have always been into nutrition and I have always kept like a whole foods mentality of eating well rather than eating junk. So, but I don't know, it feels like I'm implementing a new thing into my diet that I will probably not discontinue after pregnancy. I will probably continue eating meat. If anything, I will eat more meat, and I will continue eating more meat throughout this pregnancy. So, yeah, it's there's a lot of positive changes in my body currently. Um, so my diet, supplements. I don't know if I've talked about oral hygiene, but yes, I have been keeping up with my oral hygiene. I do things like tongue scrape with a copper tool. I also floss every night. I try to, but I really could be better at it. Also, recently, I could be better at like brushing my teeth every night, but I, I have been, again, so like lazy. I've been recently getting back into the routine of doing that every night, but yes, I will brush my teeth at least twice a day and floss once a day. Also, tongue scrape and um, tongue scrape, and I will also mouth rinse with salt because it usually once you stop flossing your teeth, your gums just kind of become like they're not like consistently stimulated. So once you go back to flossing your teeth again, they will be sensitive and they will be more sensitive to the stimulation. So in a way, it's good to get that salt in there and then just clean out whatever bacteria is currently in your teeth and your enamels. So yes, I've been taking care of that. And just going to bed early, going to bed like from 8 to 10 every night. And usually I'll wake up with my husband, which is sometimes 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. Sometimes I'll get really lazy and we'll sleep in until like 8 a.m. It's very rare recently, but I've been more of a morning person. And I'm naturally more of a morning person than my husband is. So for me, it's natural to get out of bed. And besides, I have an advantage because I don't go to work and I don't have to like exert energy in that way. So it makes me, if it helps him get out of bed, the fact that I'm like also up and like getting ready, I feel like it helps him. We haven't actually really talked about that, but um, who knows? He might actually like the mornings to himself. I don't know. I haven't asked him. That's a good question to ask him. But um, yeah, I've been getting up with him, and I've just been like starting out my day early, which is good because it gives me more things to do. It gives me more time to do the things that I need to do throughout the day. And I've been implementing things um, in terms of self-care. It's been allowing me to like take more care of myself. So like things around the house have been a lot cleaner. So in terms of self-care, I have been moving my body every day, squatting, lunging, side lunging, and I'll do like multiple reps a day, and I'll make sure that I'm like hitting like a deep squat and stretching out my body well enough, stretching out my shoulders, my neck, and um, holding an upright position whenever I'm conscious of it. So like when I'm standing or like sitting or even walking, I'll make sure that I engage my core. Um, and I'll be like, now that I've reached the third trimester, I've been playing around more with the birthing ball that I have back there. It's the it's like a method that you use to make birth a lot easier. Basically, you just bounce on it. You do asymmetrical um, hip mobility exercises on it, and I've also been practicing a headstand, which can be controversial to people who are uneducated on pregnancy and like sustaining a baby inside of your womb. But being upside down and releasing some pressure off of your pelvic floor is actually a really good thing to do. So, I mean, ask your person, ask like whoever is taking care of you during this process, whether it's a midwife, an OBGYN, a doctor, if that is right for you. Because, I mean, my sister in law is currently pregnant at the same time as me, and I don't know if that would actually work for her body because she has a breech baby and she has a placenta previa. Basically, the placenta is underneath her baby. Her baby is sitting on the placenta, and the placenta is sitting on her pelvic floor. Um, so I don't know if that would be good for her because her OBGYN said to not even squat and not do anything that could possibly induce labor. So she's basically on a resting um, third trimester mandatory time. So definitely ask your OBGYN, but for me, I'm doing things like practicing like headstands, which I was already good at doing prior to getting pregnant. So like I already knew how to do headstands prior to pregnancy, but I've just been upkeeping with it to release some of that pressure off of my pelvic floor, and it helps. Um, it feels very odd, just like feeling all of that just release for periods of time, but um, yeah, I mean, it works for me, and yeah, let's see. Oh, and other ways that things are just kind of taken care of around here is now that now that I've been home alone, I have been taking care of like plants and just I've been like in the kitchen a lot more recently. And yeah, I just like as soon as I get home from grocery shopping, I have the time to wash everything and thoroughly store it properly in the fridge so things are able to last a lot longer, and things are constantly rotating in and out of the fridge, which makes me feel good because there's nothing left behind or forgotten in the fridge, because that kind of takes a toll on your stability. It kind of takes a toll on your lifestyle and your life if things are just kind of left behind and not really taken care of, you know. At least for me personally, if things are just forgotten and there's things that I know need to be cleaned out but are not, then I just kind of I get in this like motion of just feeling lazy and just never getting to it. So um, also we moved into a house. We bought a house. We moved into a house that hasn't been renovated since who knows when. The the most updated thing is the bathroom, and the renovation job is a POS. We don't really like any of the renovations the previous owner did, and they all suck. But the kitchen is not renovated at all. and we basically have to redo everything that he did. But we don't have a dishwasher, and so we just kind of have taken the responsibility of cleaning as you go, because if we do not do the dishes, there will be piles and piles of dishes. And we kind of caught on to that way before we even moved in. We said we have to implement doing dishes now. And I told my husband that I hated doing dishes because I don't like getting my hands wet, because I like to keep my nails clean and sharp and strong. And doing dishes brittles your nails. So he would say jokingly, like, I'll do the dishes, I'm the dishwasher, don't even worry about it, Naomi. But let's be honest, like, he's not here all the time. And even though he does do the dishes when he is here, I still have to like take care of things most of the time here, because he's taking care of things outside of home. So I have developed this system of just cleaning as I go, which is really nice because everything is clean even before I have dinner, or like even before I have breakfast, or even before I have lunch. Before every meal, every dish is basically off the sink and out of my mind. So, um, in a way, it's a good thing. Um, in a way, it's just like extra work. But um, let's see. That's pretty much where I'm at with this pregnancy. I'm no longer gestationally diabetic, and so it's been enabling me to like implement more sugar if I want to. Yesterday I balled out a little bit because of the Super Bowl. I had like wings, obviously, which wasn't the bad part. It was, um, I snacked on a little bit of chips. It wasn't too much, which was, I was actually proud of myself because they had my guilty pleasures, such as um, like potato chips and Cheetos from Costco in bulk, and there was just bowls of it, and I snacked very, very slightly on them. Then the real challenge was when they pulled out the ice cream and like heavy whipping cream, Nutella, and berries upon berries, bananas, and then they pulled out crepes, and so we started. I had like two, and I really stacked it. I really stacked it with the ice cream, and even my husband, like I tell him to stop me, but at the end of the day, he can't stop me. Like he knows he can't stop me if I don't want to be stopped. So I binged on it, and normally I would get like a really bad reaction from the sugar rush, from the sugar spikes and stuff. But surprisingly, I didn't get a sugar spike from having two bowls of ice cream. Um, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was a placebo or what, knowing that I'm no longer like gestational diabetic, but I wasn't feeling like any sort of way. I wasn't feeling any sort of crash, and that to me that's a really, really positive thing, even though I know I should not be doing that stuff, because I do run the potential risk. So, uh, let's see. As far as like body anatomy, my body still hasn't changed externally too much. Like my breasts got swollen the first trimester, and it was really hard to um, fit into bras that I was able to fit into with ease in the past. But I don't know if it's because I got new bras, but I don't think that I'm struggling in that department anymore. I think that they just swelled up in the first trimester and they haven't really gone down since. So my belly is growing at a steady and slow pace. Sometimes it looks bigger than other times. In the mornings, it just looks like I had a really big meal the day before and it still hasn't gone down. Other times, I do look like a lot more bloated, but I still just look bloated. I don't really look like. Other times, it does look like a baby bump, I don't know. I don't know. It really just depends on what I'm wearing or the time of day. But um, yeah, it's growing like at a steady pace. I can show you. Let's see. So yeah. Yeah, right now it does look like a belly bump, but other times it just doesn't even look like anything. The baby is kicking hard and strong. Uh, he's been kicking harder and harder, like throughout the weeks. My husband started feeling the baby around 24 weeks. Now I am currently at 30 weeks, and yeah, the baby kicks almost every other hour, um, if not every hour. You feel him move in there, and he is definitely just making room for himself, and just kind of exploring where he is right now. So um, I have been getting Braxton Hicks, where if I stand, if like currently I'm in a comfortable position, but a couple hours ago I just like went to the kitchen to like fill up my apple cider vinegar drink for the day, and I suddenly got this like huge pain just shooting down like deep inside of me, and I consider that a Braxton Hick, or I don't know, it was just like a sharp pain. But sometimes I'll get what it feels like a contraction. It's usually like once a month type of thing, but I know that they will start here pretty soon. And um, yeah. I recently, well, at the beginning of the first trimester, I started experiencing this like heaviness on my pelvic floor. And at the time in my first trimester, I was kind of like running back and forth from Utah to Wyoming because my husband lives in Wyoming, and so I would just kind of like, well, lived in Wyoming until he moved to Utah with me. But um yeah, like we were doing the whole long distance thing for the first beginning of the first trimester, and whenever I would drive, I would do make that drive, like the 3 hour drive. I would just feel like a lot of pressure on my pelvic floor or on my pelvic bone, and one day it just like popped like 5 times in a row. It just went, and um, my pelvic bone does that like every day now. Like it does it on command, even if yeah, like it just will do that. I don't know if it's just super loose or what, but my hips have maybe gotten wider. I haven't really measured them. I could, because I have my previous measurements from when I was pre-pregnancy, but um, I don't know how to measure my hips exactly if I'm taking account like the belly bump, because it's definitely going to add. I really don't know if my hips have widened, but my squats have definitely improved. And like my mobility is definitely different, and I feel more flexible in my hip area than I used to my entire 20s um, as a dancer and as an athletic person. So yeah, it's definitely been a difference, and um, I know that pregnancy releases these hormones that just kind of loosen up your bones. So I've definitely been feeling the effects of that. I don't know why my pelvic bone pops the way it does, but it's really weird. Like I just did it. It's really weird. Um, Let's see. I don't wear a ton of makeup. In fact, I started wearing makeup like 4 days ago, and I've been doing it like ever since, because obviously once you start doing something, you kind of start implementing it into a routine. So, yeah, the my entire pregnancy I have worn very minimal makeup. Even on Thanksgiving Day or even on New Year's, I didn't wear makeup. Like even on occasion, I wasn't wearing makeup, and I want to say that sometimes it felt like I was being lazy more than not, but I was also just being conscious that I that our skin is just very absorbative. It's highly absorbative, and you don't want to be putting in like all of those things, especially when you're pregnant. You don't want to expose your baby into anything. I've also become more conscious on like what I'm putting inside of my body as much as what I'm wearing or like what I'm around. So I changed detergents. I stopped using generic store bought detergents. I started buying detergents from an online shop called Earth Breeze. They're supposed to be eco friendly, and obviously it comes like in a package, and it's just these sheets that you just put in your dishwasher in your washing machine, and they don't have any scent, they don't have any additional fragrances or anything. It's just pure detergent. I don't know what the ingredients consist of exactly, but I know that it's not the harsh chemicals that detergents have. And they're supposed to be eco-friendly too, which is a big selling point for them. But um, I'm not really getting any ingrowns in my skin, so I'll take that as a good thing. And I'm not really getting any skin rashes, which is what I used to get when I was using detergent and fabric softener and stuff. And I want to say that my maternal instincts kind of kicked in pretty early on at the beginning of my pregnancy, and I became very sensitive to smells, which still stands now. Like I can't handle the smell of diesel or like burning fuel or gas from the stove, um, even the smell of some meats. But the main thing was like air fresheners and detergents or artificial smells. Anything that was artificial was just a huge toll on on my senses, and I could almost taste them. Whenever I would breathe that stuff in, it would go straight into my brain and it would cause a headache. So I completely made a cleanse from chemicals as much as I could living in this 21st century. So uh, I've been making as many changes as I possibly can, although I can't change everything. I can't completely shield myself from every single chemical out there, because even standing in my raw skin right now, I am being exposed to something. So I really can't change everything. I really can't. So, um, but yeah, just making the changes that I have been giving me a lot peace of mind, knowing that my baby is not gonna be exposed to any of it, and the chemicals that I do use in the form of makeup are really just controlled. I use it on occasion, and then recently I've been kind of getting in the routine of it. But even still, I use very minimal stuff. Um, and I mean, none of it is organic. None of it is mineral. Like none of it is like actually good for you. It's still the same makeup that I was using before pregnancy, so it's just all chemicals. But I'm just basically using blush, mascara, and then just like concealer, and then just like some lip gloss, and then a lip balm. Like I keep my lips very hydrated anyway. I also drink a lot of water. I make sure to be drinking a lot of water, because otherwise, um, it does take a toll on the baby if you're not properly hydrated, because the baby is basically living in a pool, and if you don't keep up your water supply, then the baby is not gonna thrive. So I stay hydrated, I keep up my electrolytes, I make sure that I even put a little bit of salt in my water every day, and I upkeep with my salt intake. A lot of women in their 40s around me have been giving me terrible advice, saying stay away from salt, stay away from this, stay away from this, that is proven to be false information. You should be upkeeping your salt intake because you want to stay hydrated. You want the water retention. Yeah, it's crazy. I also started implementing a lot of books on proper gestational nutrition, and um, just basically like what the process is. I have completed a total of 4 books on pregnancy, and I'd like to say that I definitely, like, maybe 2 out of them I will consider recommending. Well, I will recommend to people, and I would probably read again. um, I mean, I could probably even read them again now since I'm still pregnant and I still am in that period. The other 2 were just kind of like, they were just kind of like hitting the emotional side of pregnancy, and I wouldn't like really recommend them to anyone who's wanting to gain any more useful information on pregnancy. The other 2 were just like on gestational nutrition and basically the process of pregnancy, and the lists of things that are actually proven to be good for pregnant women and things that are proven to be bad for pregnant women. So also another thing that I have been doing is, because of this first book, and the first book, hold on. The Mama Natural Week by Week Guide to Pregnancy and Children by Genevieve Holland. That one is basically a week by week guide on pregnancy, but also she goes in depth on the chemicals that you will be exposed to because you live in modern society, but also things that people will try to implement on you. And she talks about screenings and what is right and what is not. She goes in depth on all of the screenings that you will be asked to take throughout your pregnancy, especially in the 3rd trimester, and she debunks myths on what is good and what isn't. She talks about vaccines, talks about just procedures that may be routine at the hospital but are probably not good. She talks about the placenta and the umbilical cord and those stem cells that and how to use them after pregnancy and what they're good for at the beginning or throughout pregnancy. Let's see. She also goes in depth on things like just like even little things such as ultrasounds and what they actually are. You know, a lot of people believe that they want to believe inside their head that it's not radiation because it's an ultrasound. They use sound waves to determine the image that is going on inside your belly. But at the end of the day, it is still radiation. It is proven to cause DNA mutilation and cell the death. It's responsible for the death of cells. So yeah, she just it's just a lot of information. She's very woke on all these topics, and I don't know. I really enjoy knowing rather than not. So um, I'd rather know than to be sorry later, you know? But yeah, that's basically where I'm at with my third pregnancy. And I mean, there's still so much more. There's like, so, there's there's like 7 months worth of information that I have learned throughout the pregnancy. But yeah, this has basically been my routine. And um, yeah, I can't wait for the rest of the time. I'm still kind of feeling a little mildly uncomfortable. Like, I'll feel slightly like I'm going to explode sometimes. Like, even if I'm not full, or even if I haven't ate, I'll feel the sensation that I'm full. And that's why I tell my mom sometimes, like, I don't know how other women even eat through, like, during their pregnancy. Like, I'm trying to eat, but I have a hard time, like, feeling like I'm not about to explode just by putting another piece of anything inside my system that is not already my baby. So yeah, he's definitely like making a lot of room for himself in there. I'm also taking care of my skin very thoroughly. Like, I could be better, but um, I still haven't gotten any stretch marks, and hopefully I end this pregnancy without stretch marks. But I have been oiling with like a pregnancy oil based um, like serum, and then I've also been doing like a nightly mask or not a nightly mask, but like just like a nightly cream on my belly. Also, I've been taking like magnesium Epsom salt baths, and just to like get rid of those cramps that kind of happen in the third trimester. And I've been wearing compression socks and elevating my feet just to, because I have gained like 30 pounds in the past 7 months, and um, it's all in the core of my body, and so it is a lot of pressure, and it causes a lot of pressure on my feet. It makes them like, they're not visually swollen, but I feel like I'm stepping on needles every time that I get out of bed. So yeah, I've just been wearing compression socks and just making sure that I'm moving my body, because movement is lubrication and for the joints. So yeah, other than that, I'm pretty much just enjoying the pregnancy. I'm planning my, what is it? I'm planning my baby shower. I don't really know who's gonna show up, but I will still plan it. I don't know who's gonna show up because I've been so like MIA, and I haven't like talked to anyone. I've just mostly been on social media. I feel like I have learned a lot about the world just as much as I've learned about my body and about pregnancy and about, you know, I've been tapping into um, how to properly teach children things. So I've been educating myself on child development and like obviously the stages of childhood. So like, you know, newborn, baby, toddler, like all of that. But also it's been opening me up to like where where we stand as a society in the world, and I'm realizing how nasty everything is out there, and all of the things I don't want in my household, such as like, I don't know, even little things such as like swear words, or because if you think about it, like, yes, it's fun in games when your child like learns a swear word and he starts like saying it on repeat because he knows that like, you know that that's bad, and that he just like wants to test those boundaries. It's one thing that they catch you slipping and they hear that swear word from you, but it's another thing to have a 5-year-old swear at you, I don't want to be put in that position. So we're definitely not going to have swear words in the household. I don't want to put myself in a position of weakness compared to my son. And if I can avoid that by shielding him from lewd words or violent speech, then I will try my hardest to do so. And I definitely want to just keep him in like a good path. So if I have to elevate my standards, I'm very, very willing to do so. So yeah, that's kind of where I stand. Also, I've taken a lot. I've been implementing a lot of politics into my mindset recently, and I've been understanding, right versus left in our politics currently, and I have changed a lot of my views. And now that I'm actually like looking up why America does some of the things they do, I'm starting to just rewire my brain and to sort of wake up to politicians who are fake and other politicians who actually want to help America. And yeah, I mean, when I talk to the people around me and I talk to my friends, a lot of people say that they hate America and that they think that this land is just bogus and lame, and they would rather move overseas. But I don't know, to me that's just adding to the problem. It's not fixing anything. Personally, I think America is one of the greatest countries in the world. I would fight for this country, and I certainly feel like I will in my own way, and I am willing to like stand for this country and just like do what's right for it. So yeah, that's pretty much where I stand overall. A lot has changed. It's been 7 months since I got pregnant, and a lot has changed. It went from just staying up at night and just watching birth videos to prepping for for birth, and knowing that I'm going to be doing that here pretty soon, and a lot in between. So it's definitely a journey, and I can't wait to finish. But yeah, thanks for listening if you listened to the whole thing.